I'm just an average Joe, causing havoc with the flow. A rhythmic anecdote, my cataclysmic hand promote a type 1 diabetic mind in the medic ministry, surviving on the drug supply provided by the industry. Now why is it that this concentration of wealth limits the occupation I'm dealt to an obligation for health? Now what if I lost my job? What if I did not have one? What if the fortunate were forced to quit and lack the fund? Breaking news, there has been a sudden uprising. The prices of drugs are declining, it is surprising. Irrational wisdom for capitalism. Now look, there is more to life than the toxic profit in your pocketbook. Consider the phrase, a call for all to change their ways. And brainwaves evaluate life in humane ways. With remorse for the beat horse, it's time to recourse. Without the free source of resource, the system will meet force. Just an average Joe, here to show your status quo. Just an average Joe, ravaged by the madness slow. Just an average Josephine who was so demeaned. We're all just average, damaged and not supposed to dream. Just an average Joe, here to show your status quo. Just an average Joe, ravaged by the madness slow. Just an average Josephine who was so demeaned. We're all just average, damaged and not supposed to dream. He was just an average Joe who developed the status of an addict slow. Found a rapid law of smack and started acting so stagnant like a bandit, but it was not an act, it was a fact, and his high was the only fix for the attack. You see the pitfalls would install withdrawals, his skin crawled. Involved in an inner brawl, with no one in his life in position to lend aid. Family and friends stayed away, hoping that from day to day the shady paid in shady ways would maybe sway and fade away. Not likely, you see this average Joe never found a home. Spent years wandering alone with the fear of a disowned rebel. His level meddled in the pet of a devil. In dire need of a clinic, Joe became a schizophrenic, with fists that mimic no treatment, deep in a systemic failure. Because the way we treat those most in need is the mark of our society, an average Joe indeed. Just an average Joe, here to show your status quo. Just an average Joe, ravaged by the madness slow. Just an average Josephine who was so demeaned. We're all just average, damaged and not supposed to dream. Just an average Joe, here to show your status quo. Just an average Joe, ravaged by the madness slow. Just an average Josephine who was so demeaned. We're all just average, damaged and not supposed to dream. Just an average Josephine, Dolly Parton's Jolene with no esteem, yet it seemed that the men would fiend. At 16 off of lace Bacardi, she was raped at a party. The mark of the bee, with Haiti tore apart her heart to flee. That was the remedy for her and her virginity. An enemy that entered she and ended her serenity. After she found the strength, she had him prosecuted. His age at the time had the charges constituted as statutory, without a minimum mandatory. Her hand swore she was armed for war to recant the story. Before she found the chance, the lawyer had the perfect riddle. Got the rapist off with the verdict of an acquittal. A technicality, and we're supposed to respect legality and the conditions of the system when this is the reality. In capitalism, money is the sole advantage and the root of all evil. Isn't that the adage? Just an average Joe, here to show your status quo. Just an average Joe, ravaged by the madness slow. Just an average Josephine who was so demeaned. We're all just average, damaged and not supposed to dream. Just an average Joe, here to show your status quo. Just an average Joe, ravaged by the madness slow. Just an average Josephine who was so demeaned. We're all just average, damaged and not supposed to dream. We're not supposed to dream. We're not supposed to dream. We're not supposed to dream. No, we're not supposed to dream.